Hey everyone, this is my Catie week 3 for motor speech disorders. Starting off with the cerebellum, we have it located here beneath the occipital lobes and behind the brainstem, and it's best known for coordinating movement and balance. For SLPs, the cerebellum is important because it integrates motor plans from the cerebral cortex, and it helps with the timing, precision, and sequencing of movements necessary for intelligible and fluent speech. That can be done by regulating smooth transitions between phonemes, prosody, and coordination of the respiratory, phonatory, and articulatory systems. When the cerebellum is damaged, clients may present with ataxic dysarthria characterized by irregular articulation and disrupted rhythm. To evaluate cerebellar function, it can be done through diedocokinetic rates and sequential tasks such like putaka 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 or one movement, so pa pa pa. Those types of coordination tasks and perceptual speech analysis are very important. Research also highlights the cerebellum's role in sensory prediction and auditory timing, so it suggests a broader significance for language development, and therapy that could be done would target sensory motor integration. Understanding the cerebellum's role allows us to design more targeted interventions and improve diagnostic accuracy for motor and perceptual speech disorders. Moving on to the brainstem, we have it here. I have a big version right here, a macro version, and then we have our micro in here that has more details. It's composed of the midbrain, pons, and medulla, and it connects the cerebrum and cerebellum to the spinal cord. It's vital for life-sustaining functions such as breathing, heart rate, and consciousness. But for SLPs, the brainstem is especially important because it's the place of origin for the 12 cranial nerves, and the ones that we focus on for us being 5, 7, 9, 10, and 12. Damage to these cranial nerves can result in flaccid dysarthria, which presents as weakness, breathy phonation, and poor articulation. The brainstem also contains the reticular formation, which influences alertness and muscle tone, which are necessary for initiating and sustaining speech. Because the brainstem integrates sensory input with motor output, the lesions here often produce mixed symptoms based on which nerves are affected. SLPs use cranial nerve exams, bedside swallow evaluations, and instrumental assessments such as the FEES or the VFSS to localize and characterize those lesions and deficits. SLPs diagnose motor speech disorders, assess swallowing safety, and collaborate with neurologists and rehab teams to be able to diagnose things in the brainstem area. Moving on to the upper motor neurons. These start in the brain's motor cortex and send messages down to the lower motor neurons in the brainstem and the spinal cord to activate the lower motor neurons, which in turn stimulate muscles. So the upper motor neurons will talk to the lower motor neurons, and then it'll go to the muscles. The upper motor neurons help start the voluntary movements, control muscle tone, and coordinate precise actions like the movement at the lips, tongue, jaw, and larynx for speech. Upper motor neurons also adjust reflexes and work with the cerebellum, the basal ganglia, and sensory systems to keep movements smooth and controlled. For speech, the cortico-bulbar tract is the key pathway to carry signals from the cortex to the cranial nerve nuclei in the brainstem, which we talked about earlier. That controls articulation, phonation, resonance, and swallowing. Because the innervation patterns vary, some muscles receive bilateral input and others contralateral. Upper motor neurons lesions present differently depending on the system affected. SLPs can assess the upper motor neuron involvement by listening to speech for signs of spasticity, so that'd be a strained voice, slow rate, or poor articulation that occurs with a spastic dysarthria. We can also do an oral mech exam to examine the face, tongue, lips, and palate for reduced range or stiffness. And we can also consult with neurologists and order MRIs to confirm the lesion site. This will help to localize those lesions, differentiate the dysarthria types, and help SLPs develop therapy plans that focus on improving the coordination, reducing the speech effort, and supporting intelligibility. All right, thank you.